All right, I think we got it going now. I think we have it going. Let's just hope. Let's hope and pray that we have it going. Anyways, what I was saying is that I was doing some analysis yesterday and was looking at the pound, right? The pound versus the dollar, and I said I was going to be bullish on the pound this week. And sure enough, man, it came right down into that zone that I said it would. I actually had my limit set right on the 75. The reason being is because it was laying right on top of these. So I had it set at, well, I had it set just above it at 352.85, right? I had just rounded it up a little bit. And then I just took my first take profit, right? My first take profit was at 35275. So all that was a total of 60 pips exactly, right? And all it did was take waiting all day. It literally took all day to get there, but hey, I got there. Now it's made a little dip, and honestly, I thought it was gonna come back down. And the reason I thought it was going to come back down is because I may have to change this. This is gold here. The reason I thought it was going to come back down is because of the dollar, right? Now I'm on the 5-minute of the dollar. I had this over here earlier, so I knew the dollar was going to climb higher, right? And that's why. But I thought it was going to turn around, right? Which is why I thought I'd be bullish on the pound, right? I'm on the 1 hour on the pound. This happened right around here, is whenever it hit the 0.75, boom, entered it, perfect timing, went back down. Now the thing is that we have two, right? We have a double two highs, double highs right here, right? Not only that, we still have some highs. Well, let's get back into the hour of this so we can see this a little bit better. Right, we still have, let me do that. We still have this hump to get over, right? So it's wanting to break it, and I'm thinking it's causing it. And it may not want to break it. I don't know. It may not want to break it, but it is turning around, or it was turning around and wanting to be bullish, and then all of a sudden, dude, it just turned around and went bearish all the way. So that kind of changed my plans, which actually is a good thing, because now what we're looking at on the upside of the is we're looking at the pound going up, and we're looking at the euro going up as well. I mean, they're just both kind of flying up right now. But that may stop soon, because let's see here. Let's see if we got any good action. So looking like it could possibly stop. I'm not for sure. Liquidity pool is down here. If it was to stop anywhere, I would say probably somewhere at these equal lows, right? Or it starts tracing back. Or maybe just wanting to do it now, who knows? I'm not 100% sure, but it's definitely heading down and causing Euro GBP, or Euro dollar. Well, Euro GBP doesn't know what to do because it's going on up. So I personally thought, and I had this drawn because I knew this would probably be an area of interest, as I said yesterday, going into this. that right here, right, was the last, right? So you have your order block right here, your last big down up push, right? So that last big down up push, I thought it would, but then we also had this huge area of imbalance. So I thought it might go past it and go through this imbalance, right? As the dollar was going up, I thought the euro may just kind of take off down really fast, causing euro GBP to go down as well. But it didn't. It actually, because I thought it would break these lows, right? Just break these lows and then continue going lower. But instead, it did break this low, which is why I have this low marked out. And that low is from what? Was that from the 21st of December? That was from the 9th of December. So that low is from the 9th of December. We got down there and broke that low from the 9th of December, right? And it just got into that bullish order block, right? So then it got into that bullish order block, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, well, if it goes back down, it's going to come back down around here. And it did the same thing that that Euro GBP or that GBP USD did, and kind of took a little dip and then went back up. So unfortunately, I wasn't in the buy in this because I was expecting it to get a little bit lower, but I was in the buy of GBP USD. So now question is, where is it heading? Of course, it's going to head toward daily high, right? So now that it has made a turn, right? So boom, it made its turn. It's going to be heading up north, and we should be seeing it heading up north all the way up, and hopefully up until, you know, all the way up at the top. So grab it. I would say grab it right. Well, I wouldn't say grab it right now while it's at the bottom, but I do think it's at a very good bottom price. There are put prices for January contracts right down here at 1.2. I am not for sure if it's going to make it to 1.2. I want to see, and I want to wait and see if it's going to hit this, right? This daily low, because that would be a, go to the 4 hour here, right? So this would be kind of a bearish order block or a bearish breaker, that it would hit right here if it continues going up the way it's going up. And then the only thing is that if it turns around and goes back, what we're looking at, I mean, we have full bullish movement right now. So since we have full bullish movement, geez, let go. It is not wanting to let go at all. Okay, there we go. Sorry, my mouse gets stuck sometimes, and it's not fun. Let's see here. So we could see it pull back a little bit, and then once it does pull back, maybe hit this last down up order block here, right, that we're seeing. So even though we had, I think this was a previous daily low, I don't know why it's, actually let me look at the daily lows, because I don't know where that line came from. Yeah, there we go, that's what it was. My mouse got stuck and other things happened. So anyways, previous daily low, right at the 70.5 again. Can't tell you guys how many times to watch for this 70.5 level, right? There's going to be something near, at, around, you know, crossing, I don't know what, but there's going to be something at that 70.5 level or near it, just above it, where it's going to make everything turn around and go the other way. Usually that's usually your perfect time to buy, because that is your biggest, considered one of your biggest discounts, right? You know, for larger institutions to come in and you know, and get into the game and whatnot. So that's why you got to watch for that 70.5. And where did I draw that 70.5 from, or where do I get it from, right? So I have the last big down up move right here. So this is your last down push, right? Big one, before it just takes off, right? You got to look for these taking off moments, these huge shooting up moments, right? Just below that is going to usually be the moment to where you want to put your 1 point of your Fibonacci, right? And of course you put the other one at the very top, right? And then again, watch it come back. Whenever it comes back, hit that 70.5. If you missed this move, don't worry. You haven't lost anything just yet. You know, the same thing is happening with the institutions. They think that they've not gotten in it soon enough, you know, or when it pulled back down here, same thing. But same thing with GU, right? I did the same thing here, right? The last big boom, big up push, right? And then went sideways and it continued on, but it was that big up push, right? That's where I put my Fibonacci, right? Put it at the top, comes back down, nails the 70.5, and then continues on. Almost every single time do you see it hit the 70.5. Now, what I am looking at now, the dollar's continue to going down, just good news for the GBP USD that I'm in. Even though I've already taken first profit, let me see where I'm going to take second profit at, because that's going to be kind of a big deal. Could be soon, right? So if we look at this and we look at this on an hour level, right? So we just broke market structure, right? Just broke market structure by getting past these guys here, right? So since we just broke market structure by getting past these two highs, right? So now we're definitely bullish, right? So it could pull back some, right? And now I might have to do like a small Fibonacci, right? So I'll have to wait until this stops, right? But once that stops, I'm probably gonna do like a small Fibonacci, right, on this little guy, and then wait till it falls back again. There's that boom moment that we had going up. Where does it fall back to? It's probably going to hit this right here, right, the top of this guy. But probably where I put my first take profit one, it's probably where it's going to fall back to before it takes off again, right? I would say that it's not support and resistance or anything like that. It's just it's bullish order blocks is what it is, right? I mean, it could be support and resistance because it does go across here, but I mean, it's kind of a fake support and resistance if you think about it. Sorry, my mouth was getting dry. I had to freshen up a little bit. I'm gonna freshen up. Thank you, Nos, for letting me fresh up. Anyways, I know you guys don't get to see me dressed up so much, so thought I'd show up in my work attire and let you guys see how awesome I look in my work attire. But it looks like it may have hit top. Looks like it may have hit the top already and maybe pulling back. Let's see what the dollar's doing. Well, with the dollar, what I did with the fib on the dollar, right, was go from the part where it went, it dipped down really quick and pull back up to the top. That was the fib I did for the dollar, right? Because if I was expecting it to fall, I would expect it to come back up. Well, actually, it probably shouldn't be there. It would probably be more like right here. Either way, it's right at that level. So it's right at the 1.727, actually breaking through it. It might be actually this level that I'm looking for here, since this is the higher top level and this is the low. Going to the top, hitting that 1.275 level, and now I could probably see a bit of a retracement from there. Probably going to come up here and fill this gap. And to be honest, I mean, it still hasn't broken the high, right? It still hasn't broken this high. And here's the high that I'm talking about. So this is I think it's December 21st. December 21 high. Hug. December 21 hug high. Turn this gold. And then there's a liquidity reach above that. So this drop just may have just been a little bit of a drop and then now we may see it turn around and come back now. Who knows? That's what I mean, it looks like it's getting level with this. Let me get down here in the 5 minute of this and this dollar here, and let's see why it's wanting to stop right there, right? So let's draw a little line, just a little line. I know I have tons of lines around in here already, and everybody's going, why do you gotta add another line? Why can't you just use one that you already have? Well, it's because those ones that I already have mean something, right? And I just moved one that meant something, so that was great. So it just hit the order block, right? So that's why it stopped. You can see right here the last push down before the push up and the takeoff, right? So it just came down, hit this order block. Now I'm assuming we're going to see a retracement, right? I wouldn't expect it to get any lower than that. Now I think we're going to see a retracement. I think we're probably going to see this gap getting filled. And then I also think it is going to keep going higher. I really do. I think the dollar is going to keep going higher, which is odd considering I think I'm bullish on the pound. But the pound is a lot stronger. So whenever the dollar retraces, the pound doesn't pull back that much. And it hasn't been. It's been the euro that has been pulling back. So if we take a look at the euro, right? The euro did not take off like the pound did, right? Well, I'm looking at it in the 4 hour, but let's look at it in the 1 hour. I mean, it kind of did take off, but if you look at the pound, or that versus the pound, I mean, you can just see the pound has been obliterating the euro and obliterating the dollar. I mean, it took even the dollar is just like, what are you doing, man? Like, thought you were stronger than this. Like, even all of this that the dollar did. Well, I'm in the 5 minute. Let's go to the hour. Even in all this, I mean, this looks more like, you know, almost like a pound scenario than it does the euro scenario. The euro scenario just kind of, you know, whenever the dollar got to its high, oops, wrong one. Whenever the dollar got to its high, the euro just decided to, like, kind of, like, you know, slowly meander, you know, and then it drops, right? So the dollar just drops, and then what does the euro do? It just kind of barely moves. So I think we're going to see some bearishness, a lot of bearishness happening in the dollar, right? So whenever we see or not in the dollar, in the euro, whenever we see the dollar move up, I think we're going to see the euro move down a lot faster than then vice versa. If we see the dollar, you know, move down, I don't think we're going to see the euro move up a lot faster. I think the euro is slipping. I think it's destined to go down a little bit lower. But I think the pound is ready to take flight here. So I'm just waiting for it to. Now that it has made its high, I would wait for it to pull back. I may make another entry. Right, may make another entry right here, right where I exited actually, which was 1.3275, right? They're 1.35275. What was it? 1.35875. 1.35875. That's where I would be looking to enter again, to get a good entry, to take off, because maybe even a little bit lower. I'm already at the 1 hour. If we get into the 15 minute of things, yeah, as you can see down in here, oh, look right here, right there in the 15 minute. Oh, that's, well, I don't know what this 0.5 is. I guess it's from something else, but even in the 15 minute, your last down push here, right? You have this guy right? And let's actually get in the 5-minute. I want to see if there's any bulk in the 5-minute. Usually in these things, especially when you want to do entries, you want to do them on these, right? You want to do them on the bodies. So if you were to do it on the body and it came back down 0.75, yeah, it might be okay. I mean, you'd be entering in a little bit above where I think I want to. But if we actually use the wick, because the wicks can differ from different brokers to different brokers. Like, you know, I'm using FXCM, right? If I were to switch over to Forex or something like that, which let's do that. Let's just switch over to GBP USD. Let's note what this is. 3715, right? 3715. So now let's do GBP USD and let's use forex.com or let's use Awanda. Sure, let's use Awanda. Right. Yeah, go from here to here. See how it's different? This one was 3.5715. This one was 3560. That throws things completely off. You know, FXCM had a bigger spike down than this one did. So, this is where your fibs are not always the best way to measure things as to where your bodies can be, right? So, let's say the body of this one, right, 35788. Let's go back to GBP USD and let's go back to FXCM and let's see if it's somewhere near 3578. 35784. See, so your bodies are actually are closer to what it's going to happen than your wicks are, because your wicks are going to differ depending on what you know, broker that you're using. So that's why I don't like to measure the wicks a lot. I like to measure the bodies because you get a lot better, you know, I guess, well, whatever it is, a lot better chances as to what, you know, is going to happen with the body. So if we have the body here and we go to 0.75, guess what? It hits this right here, this big down move right here. So again, the top of this big down move probably lays right on top of that 0.75, right? So it does it. I mean, it's the exact same. So it's 1.35877, right, is what it says right here on my chart as the 0.6705. This yellow line over here is 1.35877. It's the exact same thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it pull back, hit this, and then continue on upwards, right? So if anything, maybe I should put a buy limit on here really quick. Start to, and where was I going with this? Let me make sure I got this on here correctly. I want to see if again, everything I'm doing is for educational purposes only. Nothing I'm doing is financial advice. This is all just through you know, my experience as a forex trader and as a crypto trader, to help you guys out, and hopefully have you guys understand what is going on, you know, in these worlds. On my MetaTrader 4, though, that number tends to be a little bit different, but because again brokers vary, right? So that number is 35869. This one's 35875. So I might want to go with 35875 because it gives me a little bit of a stretch. Oops, gives me a little bit more of a little bit more wiggle room, I guess you could say, as far as you know, the spread is concerned. So And let's see here. 700. Oops. Five 875 35 700. There we go. And we shall see what happens anyway. All right, let's get back to it. Sorry for keeping you guys waiting. That being said, now that we've seen what's going on with the Forex world, let's head on over to the crypto land, right? And let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum has been my baby. So what I have been banking on, and woo, oh, it just took off. Okay. So the idea I had earlier, I think we can cancel that. I thought before it took off, which I think we might be getting close to record level highs here. Actually about $100 away. I was thinking it was going to possibly pull back down into about 1140-ish before it actually took off. And the reason I thought that was because there's a lot of liquidity resting below, right? So, you know, you had the equal lows here, boom, went down there, took those out. There's equal lows laying right here, right? And so I think people would see that as support, right? And just below that, you have a bullish order block. It's also is that area where it goes boom, where it takes off, kind of stops here for a second and then does it again. So that's an area to where if it fell back to, it would definitely hit that, bounce off of it, and then just keep going, right? And I gave myself a little leeway of entering, but instead it just took off, right? So that's good news for Ethereum, but it is pulling back. The thing with Ethereum is I mean, it does, you know, it's if you watch the dollar, right, similar things happen. So now it looks like probably the dollar is going up, which means that, you know, the euro and the pound both going down. So the dollar looks like it is retracing a little bit. Like the euro is really not moving whatsoever, but we can get into the 5 minute of it and find out. Kind of barely moving here, and then this is the CAD. CAD didn't really do much today either, did it? Not till just now. Oh, this is the 4 hour. So I was looking at the CAD. CAD came up, did the same thing. Looks like it hit an order block from this guy here, right? Pulling down. I think the CAD's gonna sell and blow through these lows, right? Just because there are equal lows. So CAD's gonna sell through those. But instead, what we're concerned about is Ethereum. But now, you know, I was going to try to make a call, but now we just got to wait to see what's going to happen when it retraces. I think we can probably get rid of the fib that we have on it. Get rid of this idea that it could, I mean, it still could fall back to this level, right? But, you know, that was before, you know, that was before it broke this high. Now it's broken this high, the game has changed, right? Now we got to look for something else, for another good entry, if there is another good entry. Because like I said, I entered way back here, right, at around, it was probably like around, I forgot what I said it was, around 12.8, 12.10, somewhere around there. Whenever it was falling, right, and then I pulled the fib, it was from here to here. But either way, we got to see where this is going to be falling back to. Now, like I say, you know, look for that big boom up. And that's usually where you can draw a good fib from. I think I see one now, right? And this is coming in after balancing, right? After balancing and then taking off, right? So after balancing, taking off. If it would just stay up there, stay up there. Okay. Now, here is the last low of the balancing, right? So, and then boom, just kind of takes off, right? It doesn't you know, try to come back down or do anything like that, like these guys did over here, right? We're not worried about that. We are worried about it just taking off and going up, right? Now, the question is, when it falls back, where's it going to hit? I personally think, you know, it could hit this guy right here, right? Just, I don't think so though. It's a little bit above the 62. Could hit the 62 because you look in here. This is why you have to sometimes get down to the nit grit and get into these 5 minute, 1 minute if you want to try to find a good entry, right? Look at the 62, the last down candle, right? Before we start going up again, the spike of it is on the 6.2, right? So right around 1263. So if you think Ethereum is going to keep going up, right? If it's not going to come back down, if you don't think it's going to get down to 1140, right? And you think it's going to stay back up, or if you just want to throw a little bit in, right? A dollar cost average, I think your best shot would be right around 1263, 1262, somewhere around there. I think it's going to hit this before it takes off again, because that is right at the 62. 75, there's really nothing here at the 75 except for the bearish or the bullish order block over here. So you would have the last down move before your up move. So you could, if you want to look at it this way, you could look at this as an entire down move, right? You know, if we're looking at it at like a 1 hour perspective or a 4 hour perspective, right? Let's look at it at a 4 hour perspective, right? That whole move, right? All that we were just looking at could be considered one big down move. So in between, yeah, look at that. The 75, 7.5, there is a spike right there at that 7.5. So it could be right there, right? Which is 1250 even, 1250.20. So this thing just pumped right up, right? It's gonna fall back, right? And where is it gonna fall back to? Could fall back to 1250. And then once it's 1250, I would expect it to just kind of meander around a little bit and then stay above. Or this could be one of those things to where it falls down hard, right? It's going to fall down hard, and it's going to fall down to where I think it's going to fall down to 1140, and then boom, come back up. That's honestly, that's what I think is probably going to happen. So I don't know how many times I've seen crypto do this. This is one thing I've been learning, especially about studying crypto's price action, right? It's a little bit like Forex's, but it's not entirely. You know, with Forex, it would have done that first and then made the high, because it broke market, because, you know, it didn't break market structure. This will break market structure, and crypto will say, well, F you, and then it'll go back down and break market structure, and then break market structure again. It's you know, it knows no limits. Crypto does. So it's its own beast, and I'm absolutely loving studying it and seeing the price action in it. And I honestly think that this is probably what is going to happen, right? I really do think it probably is going to fall down to about 1140-ish, in between 1160 and 1140, somewhere around that area before it takes off again. If it doesn't, look for these areas that I was talking about up here, in between 1250 and 1264. But then again, like I said, there's $100 difference, right, between where I think it really can go to and to what it possibly could go to, and then just keep going up. So watch out for that, right? Bitcoin. What does Bitcoin do? Oh my God. Look at my little drawing of Bitcoin and how it almost happened, right? So, oh, I call, nope, it didn't call it exactly right, right? So it looks like there was probably two bullish order blocks in here. You have some equal lows, and I said Bitcoin probably meander its way down, and then hit, well, actually get below these lows, and it looks like it did. It looks like it kind of did a little spike below the lows. Let me just get rid of this. So it did have a little spike below those lows, right? Dipping into that liquidity, but then going back up, pumping back up. Good, good, right? Like I said, and the reason it fell in the first place was because of this big, pushed up and then down. So that up move, right, came up to that last up move and fell. Right, and the good thing is that it's still bullish. I mean, even though we haven't broken any lower lows yet, right? So we haven't broken any higher highs, but we haven't broken any lower lows. So we're still looking decent on Bitcoin. I am on the 4-hour here. This is at the 42. So we're still going sideways. We're still going sideways. Not bad, not bad. You know, at least we're not going down, right? And I made calls before on Bitcoin where I was like, oh, it's going way down here. But that was back, whenever it was, under the 20,000 range. And it was doing what I thought it was going to do. And it was this right here, actually. My friend asked me, he said, well, what do you think's going to happen now? And I said, actually, it just hit a bullish order block, so I think it's actually going to go higher. And it did. It got higher. But I thought from that point, I actually thought it was going to get underneath this, right? And then kind of fall off from there is what I thought was going to happen. But instead, it did bounce off of it, right? You can see that red candle there. It did bounce off of it, but then boom, it just pushed right through it. So Bitcoin has been a madman. And I just absolutely loved and enjoyed studying the price action on crypto. It's so much fun. It's like I said, it's a lot different than Forex, but I'm starting to understand it, understanding the moves. But the properties and the value is still there from Forex. It's just it acts a little bit different. It acts a little bit different. It acts a lot more bullish, that's for sure. What other crypto should we check out, guys? What other ones have let's see here. I want to look at Litecoin, because I really feel like Litecoin is it's got to be getting close, but man, it's not. It's just kind of been disappointing, huh? Well, no, it's starting to make some waves, I think. Here, let me get rid of some of these. All right. So this is definitely some institutional action happening here in Litecoin. Is good, right? Okay, so we had equal highs here, broke them, equal highs here, broke them. Now we have more equal highs. We have, and here is March 2018 highs, right? 182. I am not for sure what the actual all-time high is of oh, it looks like it's up here. Looks like it's 251. Does that sound about right? 251 for Litecoin. Let me roll back and see if we can get an all-time high estimate from 2018. Oh, 420. Okay. 420, 380. It made a good spike. Looks like 304, 250. So these are liquidity draws that I'm drawing up here. we're now climbing the mountain. So I think you know, with alt season coming up, I think alt season is going to be in full effect soon. Whenever Bitcoin blows up, the rest of them do, right? Because everybody's looking at the next thing. Question is what's next? You know, Bitcoin was the gold. I think Litecoin's the silver. I think eventually it's going to get up there with it. Now looking at the apparatus now, seeing what's happening. I think I already showed you that this was the 70.5 entrance, right? If we did this to this, actually I think it was this to this. Oops, there we go. 70.5 entrance, boom. Now we're taking off. Now we just gotta wait for it to get above here. So it's just kind of looks like it's kind of wavering. It looks like it made some equal highs. It may pull back from that and then shoot up through those. That's what I'm hoping. I'm not seeing any liquidity kind of form down through here, which is good. I'm not seeing any sell side liquidity. Litecoin is looking very, very bullish. Good to go on that one. Bitcoin Cash. This has been an interesting one. It made that whole big loop-de-loop. And it's just been a straight shot up from here. Really no institutional moves here in Bitcoin Cash, which has been interesting. I'm glad we haven't seen any institutional moves in that. Cool. Nothing I can say, but you know, except for there's looks like there was some equal highs here, and looks like Bitcoin Cash broke them. And now Bitcoin Cash is probably going to be looking to break these highs here at 538, not too far away, you know, at 517. But once you break these highs, looking at, you know, these guys right here to possibly make it rebound a little bit. So I would say somewhere in between right now and 560 is where it's going to stay for a little bit. Unless we see something completely different. But this here was definitely an institutional move, right? You know, somebody just went in there and did, you know, either played with the algorithm or just pumped it full of cash and then just sold it off really, really quick. You know, made people buy, made people have the FOMO. And so everybody was buying into it. Everybody was buying into it. And once it got past 600, they were like, all right, we're done. And they just sold off everything they had. And then boom, there it goes. So let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, I need to check out Cardano. See what Cardano's got going on, because hasn't moved since the last. I mean, it's went down now. Looks like it's finally starting to make a little bit of a retracement. Now, where's it gonna retrace to? That's the question. I know everybody's waiting for Cardano to see where it's gonna retrace to. Yeah, well, actually it did. Well, no, I think I put those equal highs there, right? So, we're gonna be doing something like this. And actually, I think it could probably pull back farther than that. I think Cardano. This looks more like it. Around 32,436. Because that's where this last push down is, right? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Look at that. Yeah, that's where I did the last push down, right? All the way to the top. Where does it fall back to? Inside the 62, just above the 7.5. Boom, goes up again, right? So again, that's what you look for. You look for those kind of moves. So here, it probably did it again, to be honest. So if we draw this one here, go here, it fell back, almost got to the 62, but you know, it just steadily went up. Didn't do much. But now, same thing. Well, we got, boom, we had a huge takeoff, right? Now it's starting to slowly simmer back down. I think it's going to hit the top of, you know, this red candle here, which is going to be 32426. Right, once we get there, just right at the 62. Actually, it could be just a little bit above that. It could be at the 3192. Reason I say it could be at the 3192 is I see this little bit of a spike, right? The wick right there, right? So the volume says that it fell down, or it's, you know, it started here, right? It dropped, right? Went up, right? And then well, it dropped, went up, and then came back down, and then boom, came back down, and well, actually it dropped down to here, went back up, and as it went back up and closed, it went to a new candle. It dropped from that point, right? It dropped from that point. So whenever it dropped from that point, that'd be a point I'd be looking at. So that'd be 31920 Cardano. That's where I'd be looking for a new entry, to either average your cost, or if you're trading, you know, to go long. But right now, you know, if you're trading for futures, anything like that, I would be definitely shorting this probably for the near future. Let me see if there's any futures actually. Cardano, there are. Nice. And FTX. Cardano futures. Looks a little different, but not too bad. If I was to draw out the same thing, let me see if we get the same reaction. We do, right? Right around in this area here again. Right, except for this one's 32750, right? So futures maybe a little bit different price, 32750. I think the other one was 319 something. So yeah, you know, right around the same area, you know, not too bad. But I think that's what's going to happen to Cardano. Don't expect this, right? Even though this looks like, a lot of people get hung up with this right here, right? They get hung up with like these highs or near highs, and then what looks like it could be you know, a support, right? You know, where it comes back and then, you know, touches this and goes up. A lot of people could get hung up on that. Don't get hung up on that. That's what's going to kill you, because once it gets down here and you start buying, it's going to go right through it, and it's going to find that next big down push, up push, and then you're going to be taking, you know, you're going to be, you know, you get lost a, you know, a couple percent at least. Let me see what that would be. About 8% is what, you know, you could possibly be missing out on if you were to use that idea right there. So if we drag this out in the future, right, and Cardano's falling down, and you start buying right here, but it goes through and it hits this area and goes up again, you just missed out on about 8%, right? Polkadot, check out Polkadot. It's the same thing. So it had its last, well, it had a big down push here, right? A huge run, and now possibly could be doing the same thing. Honestly, I'm wondering if this is but this isn't balanced. Well, it kind of did balance. It did do a down push here before it took off again. If anything, I'd be measuring it from here, right? Since it did have that down push, you have a down push here and then a big boom, right? So you could be looking for anywhere in here. And what you do have in this level, right, is that you do, once it goes down, it comes back up and then pushes down again. So looking at this, I would be, this is a 4 hour actually, so I'd be looking at that going straight across, right? And if we get down into the nitty-gritty of things, we can find some good candles to lay our eyes on, right? So it could be right on that 7.5, right? That's actually what it looks like. If you look at the last down push, like right here, right? Last down push before the up push, right here at the 0.75 at 13,413 for dot. 13,413 would be your next good entry. If You know, if you're not in DOT and you want to find a good entry, I think that would be a good entry. But who knows? You know, it could be, we could be getting tricked. You know, it may not be balanced. Even though I think that that is, when it does these kind of loops right here, it goes up, comes around, comes back down. That's rebalancing, right? It's rebalancing itself. So that is balanced, right? Comes back up, stops, comes in, comes back down, stops. So that is rebalancing. So it did rebalance. This is the last balance, I think. It may not be though. But again, let me just double check. Let's see. That would be at about the 80, which actually that would be good. Because if this was at the 80%, then DOT's gonna fly, right? Whenever you see something retraced to the 80%, that's usually a good chance it's gonna take off the other way, because people are, that means more people are gonna be entering to get into the trade, right? If it reaches that 80%, because that much more off, that means that much more money is going into it, which means that much more of it just gonna go. It's gonna do that kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? I hope you do, because I just made a really weird noise. Monero. Or what is this? What is X? Is that Monero? Oops, didn't mean to do that. That's not Monero, not XRP. You have to excuse me. I don't know all my USD. Oh, duh, Ripple. Jeez, what am I thinking? Yeah, never mind. Ripple's almost not for sure what's gonna happen to Ripple, to be honest, but especially if you can't get it anywhere. But we'll see. I mean, Ripple is definitely institutionalized. That's the thing. Ripple has so much of a market cap. There's actually big players in this space already, and because it's so cheap, that's the reason why. You know, a couple percentages, you know, in this thing can really make somebody a ton of money. What's going on here? I don't really. I mean, if you're in Ripple, if you, I mean, I don't know when. I think was it today or tomorrow? I think it's 2 days from now. Not for sure, but I don't think Ripple has too much longer before it is going down. But I did want to check out Monero, XMR. That's what it was. Let me let's go Bitfinex. When I like Monero in wow, it is really gone down. I thought it was a lot bigger. I thought I had a lot more in it. Oh, I'd actually measured it to BTC. That's why. My bad. XMR USD. I was gonna say, I thought it was like in the 150s at least. All right. Monero's definitely got some support here going on around the 150 level. Bouncing off here. Let's see, I'm not really seeing a good entry, just because I don't see a whole lot of institutionalized moves. I think once I started delisting it from from major exchanges. We haven't seen much going on from Monero, but I would say, little bits at a time. Eventually, I think Monero and especially Zcash. Check out Zcash since they're privacy coins. I think we're going to see a lot come out of them. As you can see, they're both kind of going sideways. But I think eventually they're going to come out on top, or one of the top ones anyway. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Thanks for watching. Glad to be here. Glad to see everybody, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out, and have a good night, and wear your pants.
Any advice or information on this website is general advice only. It does not take into account your personal circumstances. Please do not trade or invest based solely on this information. By viewing any material or using the information within this site, you agree that it is general education material and you will not hold any person or entity responsible for loss or damages resulting from the content or general advice provided here by bodies and wicks. Its employees, directors, or fellow members, futures, options, and spot currency trading have large potential rewards, but also large potential risk. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the futures and options markets, as well as Forex. Don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. This website is neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy, sell, trade futures, spot Forex, CFDs, options, or other financial products. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those discussed in any material on this website. The past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results.